What's going on, guys? Welcome to Comics League. I'm Jared, and first off, I just want to bring up the response to our past video was crazy. Like it's sitting at like 571 views. So thank you, everyone. Today, I figured I'm actually going to do something actually pretty cool. I'm going to do a video explaining the Nightmare timeline, just to kind of whet your guys' appetite to what the SnyderVerse is really building towards. I think that's the Nightmare timeline is like one of the big one of the main like appeals of the SnyderVerse being restored, that we get that. So to start off, what is the Nightmare timeline? So in Zack Snyder's DC universe, actually this was teased in BVS. So I'm gonna start on this. The scene in BVS is, so Batman goes to sleep and he has a nightmare, pun intended. And in this nightmare, he's leaving a bunker that I believe is at Wayne Manor. And then he looks at and then there's Metropolis, and it's like this big post-apocalyptic landscape. And there's a giant Omega symbol in the ground. So it immediately tips the audience off that it's Darkseid. Then and Batman's so badass. He's got like a trench coat. He's got tactical pants. He's got a scar. It's really, really dope. So Batman approaches this convoy that was supposed to locate kryptonite. And you're wondering, why does Batman need kryptonite? Then it turns out that Batman's allies betrayed him, and then parademons and these regime soldiers attack. As a result of the attack, Batman's captured. He wakes up, then all of a sudden you hear a sonic boom. Superman lands like a boss, and then you see like the regime soldiers kneeling before Superman. Clark walks and then kills the two other prisoners. It takes the cowl off of Bruce and goes, "She was my world, and you took her from me." And then Clark caves in Batman's chest. Then Batman wakes up from the nightmare to Barry Allen reaching out, going, "Bruce, she's the key. It's Lois Lane. You got to protect her." Am I too soon? No, I'm too soon. Find us, Bruce. You have to find us. Fear him. You've always been right about him. And then he wakes up. That's the introduction of the Nightmare timeline, which at the time was a little jarring when it came up. I'll give you that. And I'm like, what? Then but combine that with Zack Snyder's Justice League. So what happens is at the end of Justice League, they defeat Steppenwolf brutally, and then Darkseid goes, "Ready the Armada, we'll use the old ways." So the original plan, now note, a lot of this is subject to change because Snyder has directly said that if he's allowed to return to his DC universe, he's going to change some things, so it's all original stuff. So take that with a grain of salt. Now, Lex Luthor behind the scenes, because we know he broke out of prison and then is arrested by Deathstroke. He assembles the Injustice League, which is Moreau, and they explain how she lived from World War I because it's like she's been experimenting with like Amazonian magic or something like that. The point is she survives in the most comic book survival ever. So then the Justice League are systematically taken out. And then Darkseid boom tubes into the Batcave where Lois Lane was talking to Batman, because in this original Zack Snyder timeline, which he has since changed, he has changed this. I have to emphasize that. The kid that Lois was pregnant with was Bruce's. And he even said, "Yeah, that's stupid. I took that out." So anyway, going back to what I was talking about. Then what they establish is Darkseid kills Lois Lane, and Batman's powerless to stop it. Then Superman shows up and is cradling Lois Lane's dead body, as we saw in Snyder Cut when Cyborg interfaced with the machine, and then it showed him that nightmare per se. Yeah, again, nightmare. I'm gonna say nightmare a lot in this episode. Then he interfaces with him. Then Superman is taken over by the anti-life equation, which once again, remember, referring to a previous video I did. The anti-life equation is a basic spiritual equation, I guess, that allows the user, whoever solves it, to dominate the free will of others. That's what happens. Darkseid used the anti-life equation to take over Superman's mind, and then 5 years pass. Now, this is where it picks up. Now, remember, at the end of the Snyder Cut, it was supposed to establish that John Stewart, the Green Lantern, lives. I mean, it exists in this universe, and he's on the Justice League. Now, what eventually happened is that the Green Lantern Corps would lose contact with John. And they're wondering what happened. So they send Hal Jordan, I believe it was Hal Jordan, to Earth. The ship crash lands. And first off, the Corps is destroyed, pretty much. The Corps, so the Green Lantern crash lands, which it's in the drawings by Jim Lee, it looked like it was Hal Jordan, but it could be any Green Lantern they want to use. And then it's saved by Batman. And remember, this is 5 years after Superman turned evil. Well, was taken over. At this point, Batman has this plan where he's going to send Flash back in time to that moment to tell Bruce that that he is the father of Lois Lane's kid, and that's going to like inspire him to even more want to protect her. So it's going to allow him to spoiler alert, dive in front of the Omega beams in Final Crisis himself. And then what works there is that we see Batman's new Justice League, which is like Deathstroke, Joker, Mara, let's see who else, Flash, Cyborg, and this new Lantern. At that point, fall back to Wayne Manor and decide they need a mother box because Cyborg is building this what is it, this cosmic treadmill so Flash can go back in time. They break into this cathedral and grab a mother box and then Mad Max it out of there. They return to the but here's the thing, as soon as they grab the mother box, Superman starts coming for them. So they hightail it to the Batcave. Everyone dies except Flash, and he just takes off into the timeline. Then it connects to the Batman versus Superman moment, which is Flash going, Bruce, listen to me. You have to protect Lois Lane. It's basically the BVS scene. Then it goes to the moment where a moment earlier in Justice League 2 with Bruce and Lois. Flash goes, Lois lied. You're the father of her child. Then Darkseid booms in. And then Batman dives in front of the Omega beams and saves Lois, but he gets mortally wounded. Then Superman shows up and not impresses Darkseid back into the boom tube. Then Darkseid shows up with this entire army. The Justice League take off, including Batman, and they have this epic endgame Lord of the Rings style battle, which includes like the Amazons, entire Green Lantern Corps, Atlanteans, and Justice League, and all the armies of man. Then Batman sacrifices himself to take out Darkseid, and this basically resolves the conflict. And then Wonder Woman's mother dies, and Wonder Woman is crowned Queen of the Amazons, and then Arthur succeeds in being a bridge between Atlantis and the surface world. So that's where it basically ends, and then the kid ends up to be the new Batman. Now, Zachary said that if he comes back and he changes it, it's going to be Lois and Clark's kid. It's not going to be like the whole Bruce Wayne love triangle. It doesn't work. So that's the point. That's the nightmare timeline. Now, basically, I think it's one of the coolest things ever because they've never really done, like, as far as I know, a sort of Mad Max style storyline for DC, except for like maybe Last Night on Earth, which was, I believe, the conclusion to Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Batman run in the New 52. But besides that, it's like they haven't really touched the post-apocalyptic genre. And to see that in live action with the Justice League and have this epic time travel battle. And remember, this was supposed to come out pre-Endgame, so it would have beaten Endgame to the whole back in time resolution conflict. That's what this leads to. And so that's what the Snyder Cut was building to, this epic Lord of the Rings style battle. And what's cool about it that I forgot to mention is that it directly mirrors the scene in the Snyder Cut with the history lesson scene where you see the three armies uniting and all the armies of DC. It's on the storyboards. It literally says the entire DC universe unites to fight Darkseid. Literally, it's the entire DC universe. How awesome is that? So keep tweeting Restore the SnyderVerse because then we'll get that. Now, what's my estimation of the chances that the SnyderVerse is going to be restored? 100%. 100% we're going to see this. May not be like next year, but I guarantee you they're going to restore it. They just have to work out a few details, wait for Zack's contract with Netflix to go up. But it's going to happen. We're going to get the rest of the SnyderVerse. To quote Thanos, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. So just enjoy it. And you know what? Look forward to it because we're going to get some good DC content. And here's the thing. It's just new DC content. And by the way, Oscar-winning DC content. Yes, we could say that because IMDb lists Zack Snyder's Justice League as an Oscar winner. So you know what? There you go. I think that's a good place to leave it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Comics League. Actually, you know what? No. I'm not going to leave it yet. Because here's my other points that I want to make. When it comes to this timeline, it also combines the element of injustice, which I know we had that animated movie, which was it's an alternate take on injustice. That's what first you have to understand. Alternate take. It's like an Elseworlds Injustice. It's not that good of an Elseworlds. I really would have liked if instead of making one movie, they made it a group of movies and then just didn't change the storyline for Injustice. That's my point. But this could be a new version of Injustice, except written by one of the best directors in Hollywood. And when it comes to this particular timeline, think about how awesome it is to see Batman teaming up with the Joker. In fact, there's going to be a Last Supper scene where basically it's like the calm before the storm moment where Batman and the Joker reminisce about their past. And then we see the death of Dick Grayson. It's going to be like a flashback scene. So we'll see how Dick Grayson died in the SnyderVerse. And remember, if they restore the SnyderVerse and give the other people their movies, guess what that leads to? Deathstroke movie, Ben Affleck's Batman series. There's so much DC. It's just more DC content. I mean, enjoy it. I don't get why we have to be like down on people all the time because they like the SnyderVerse. It's just more DC content. And it's award-winning DC content. I just hate how apparently non-Snyder fans were like complaining that a DC movie won an Oscar. Should be very happy that that DC films finally got the recognition they deserve. But anyway, I'm not going to get into another rant on this. My point is, you get all this cool stuff. So keep tweeting the hashtag. Release the hashtags. All right, guys. Now I'm going to end it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe because we got a lot of other great content coming to you. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Stay heroic, everyone. Bye-bye.